just going to talk you through a red ditty book, or a red phonics book as they're called, on Oxford Owl. So the ones on Oxford Owl look exactly like these. They're in the same format, except that they are ebooks for you to have a look at, but they're exactly the same as this one here, just different stories. So in our red book, see on the first page, we've got speed sounds. So with our ditties, if you can see my ditty at the back here, with our ditties we had a few speed sounds to practice. In the red books, you find that the ditties, the speed sounds, you have got all of them here to practice. So you've got speed sounds, you've got ditty 1, ditty 2, ditty 3, and then some questions to talk about, and then some speedy green words. These are words we want children to read really confidently and quickly. So I'm just going to show you through all the pages. So every day before you start your reading, you do your speed sounds. So the children point to the sounds and read them all the way through. So you can see here that a couple of them have got circles around them because these are sounds that might come up a few times within this story or the stories in this book. So you do your speed sounds first every day, and you can also play a little game with your child, and you could just point to them randomly just to see if you can try and catch them out. So then we go on to do the green words. So in our first story, Pin It On, you can see there are a lot of green words. So what you want your child to be able to do is to Fred talk, read the word, all of these, and then see if they can Fred in their head them, and then see if they can read them quickly. And then underneath there is a word that might have a plural on it. So this word, at, that, and here we've got at, s, that's. So this one's different, it's got a s on the end, so that one says that and that's. Some of the stories also have a red word at the bottom. I'll just see if I can find one in this book to show you. So look, in this story, in Ditty 2, there's a red word, put. So remember, red words, if you try to Fred talk that, it would be p-ut, put. So we just learn it, that this letter is making an sound. It's a bit of a strange, a bit of a tricky sort of word. So we just learn that that one says put. And in the story, you will see that they actually make the word red, just to give the child a clue. So going back to the first story, after you've done your green words, you then turn to the first page and have a go at reading the title. So Pin It On. And then there should be a little introduction which you can read to your child. So for this one it says, in this story some children are playing a game called Pin the Tail on the Donkey. They are blindfolded and they need to attach the tail onto the right place. Let's see how they do. So that's just a little introduction as to what the story's all about. And then you go through and ask your child to read the story. Now, when they are reading the story, what I want you to make sure that they do is that after they have read the sentence and done some Fred talking, that they then go back and reread the sentence as a whole. So, for instance, they may go, pin, it, and they might know that one says on. So now you want them to reread it. Pin, it, on. So the next sentence, not, they know that one's on, not on, its leg. Reread it, not on its leg. You might say to them on the next sentence, oh look, that word was at the beginning of the last sentence, so we know that says not. Not on its chin. Not on its chin. By now we should be getting the idea that they're all starting with not on its. So here we've got another sentence. Not on its tum, not on its tum. And then the last page, yes, yes. That's it. Pin it on. Yes, that's it. Pin it on. So after they've read the story once, you go back and you're going to read the story to your child and try to put a bit of expression in. It is quite tricky because they are quite little stories and they're very simple, but you can put a little bit of expression in, like this. Pin it on, not on its leg, not on its chin, not on its tum. Yes, that's it. Pin it on. So now what you need to do is to ask your child to go back and read the whole story in one go again. When they've finished reading it, if you turn to the back of the book, you will see that there are questions to talk about. So you've got 3 questions for each story. So in this story I've just read, we've got, where does the first girl pin the tail? Do the children like playing the game? Now that question, if they say to you yes, you might say, oh, how do you know they like playing the game? And I guess the answer you're hoping is they're going to say, oh, they're smiling, they're enjoying it. We can tell they're enjoying it. If they say no, again, how do you know they don't like it? And then the last question, what sort of games do you like to play at parties? So there's another question at the end just to get them to think a little bit further beyond the story of some of the games that they might like to play at parties. So those are the 3 questions. And then finally, at the very end of the book, are your speedy green words. Now these are words that really are useful just to be able to read without having to Fred talk them. So you will practice these every day when you're reading this book. So they can go through, point to them one at a time and read them, and then you can test them by pointing randomly at the words and see how speedy they can get at reading them. So that's how you read a Red Phonics book. Now, if your child has a go at reading this the Red Phonics book on Oxford Owl and it really is a bit too much for them, and bearing in mind that the content in them is a little bit more than the ones we have in school, search on Oxford Owl in Read Write Inc for the red ditties. Now they are more ditty sheets like this one that I've got here on my board, and they're a little bit harder than the ditties we've been reading in school and the ones I've been putting up for you. So you could try them as a bridge between the ditties and the red books, or if you think they're really struggling, I will be putting pictures up of the next 4 ditty sheets for you to have a look at. But you decide on what you think your child is going to be able to do. Happy reading.